What's going on?
Yes. Can everyone hear us now?
Can you hear us?
I'm gonna let you two
let us know
that.
if you can hear us now. can you hear us? So I know that people are saying that they can hear us. We're good? Okay, someone wrote yay, so I'm gonna assume that yes, people can hear us. Okay,
Good.
so some quick things. We were just saying hello. We were introducing ourselves. I'm classically Abby. This is my husband at the right angle. That's his Twitter handle. And we are streaming for Young America's Foundation. So I want you to go back to what you were saying, but I just want to quickly introduce kind of what my channel is, and then you can explain what you wanted to say
Go
before.
ahead.
So on my channel, we talk about commentary, lifestyle, beauty, fashion, and opera. I'm an opera singer, all from a conservative and classic perspective. And you might be wondering, if I'm classic, why am I playing a violent video game? But my husband and I discussed in the first episode of this, and we touched on it a little bit in the second episode, that we believe that in this game, the violence is being used for a purpose, to tell the story and to get across an idea. And in that, that's okay. It's trying to do an artistic thing. So why don't you explain your hyper-capitalistic idea
Sure.
about
so,
this game?
well, it's just, people point out that this game is criticizing capitalism, criticizing objectivism. So why are we conservatives playing it? Don't we know that we're being mocked by this very game itself? Are we just that stupid? No, in fact, we are not that stupid. We might be stupid in other ways. You could bring that up. But not in this way. We know this game is criticizing objectivist capitalism. Fun thing is, being a real conservative, we criticize objectivist capitalism. Don't believe that prostitution should be legal? Oh, well then you believe in limits on the free market. Don't believe you should be able to buy and sell children? You believe in limits on the free market. Don't believe in a variety of things that should be bought or sold? Well, congrats, you believe in limits on the free market. The fact that markets work is what we believe. The idea that there are moral limits to that is also what we believe. So this game is a good opportunity to show what a fully libertarian, not conservative society has as flaws, and, flex on it as one does while you play.
Speaking
So that's what
of
we're doing.
markets, somebody redeemed our Patriot currency, and they said you should hydrate to get prepared for the game.
Don't mind if I do.
I already did, but I can rehydrate. Okay, so the reason, if you're wondering why I'm looking down, Jacob and I are going to be communicating with you guys in the live chat of my YouTube channel, as well as the chat for YAF's Twitch stream. So if you guys want to ask us questions, we would love to answer them. That's the easiest way for us to communicate with you. It's a little bit harder for us to just kind of go off of comments, but if you ask us questions, then we can respond, and we can call you out by name if you have an appropriate name.
Abigail, most important decision one can make in this game.
Yes.
What are we upgrading?
Oh no. I mean, my favorite is always the wrench, but the wrench seems not to be upgradable.
Exactly.
So...
I say
The
pistol.
shot? Pistol? Yeah,
Pistol.
okay, fine. Do the pistol.
Yeah, you gotta go Annie Oakley on it. Clip size or damage? Damage.
Yeah, let's do damage. So Jacob is the expert of video games, or at least in comparison to me, who is terrible. So Jacob is taking the lead right now. I've gotten better actually through playing for this live stream. I've gotten better at playing video games, but I'm generally pretty bad.
Well, no, you say I'm the expert, but I gave us a little bit of tedium to work through. So, you have the plasmids, the genetic manipulations that give you superpowers in this game.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy them. I neglected to buy any of them. And so we are without the flame one that melts all the ice, preventing us from proceeding. So there's
we have to go back a bit?
a jaunty little run all the way back to the vending machine that gives you superpowers.
Okay, I'm gonna let you take care of that.
People
because-
claim this is a criticism of hyper-capitalism, and yet there's a vending machine that gives you superpowers with 1950s marketing aesthetics. You're going to tell me this isn't a perfect society?
I thought we were going to the circus of values,
No,
but no.
we
We're
don't need
going
that.
to the garden of something?
The
Gatherer's Garden.
I already have the firepower. I am just ignorant.
You're just not even paying attention to
No.
yourself.
Clearly not.
I mean, to be fair, I'm one who, no matter what game I'm playing, if there's a thing that's not just like walking forward or shooting people, I forget that I have to do it. So like upgrading plasmids, upgrading your weapons. These are things that are not obvious to me as something I should be doing, and then I get to the very end of the game and there's a giant boss fight and I have nothing to fight him with. That's generally
You
what's
say
happening.
like it's a negative.
So I'm gonna pop into here and see what people are asking.
And whoever's not playing is the one handling comments.
Should I look on both then?
Yeah, sure. You can dual wield live streams.
Okay.
The power only few know how to do.
Exactly. So I did get a question from Esty on my channel. What is your favorite game to play? So I actually...
Very easy answer.
Yeah, very easy answer. And I learned this during the pandemic, and that is Witcher 3. I loved Witcher 3. It was the first time I'd ever played a video game, and I realized that it was, you could watch it and play it like a movie, like it's a storyline, which is very much up my alley. I like the stuff that feels like it has a great storyline. I'm not a shooter game person, so...
Although we are soon to be playing through the entire Halo series.
Right.
So
that's
that
on-
Abigail can learn how to play FPSs.
Yeah. So that's the game that I really enjoy, and I actually just restarted it because I hadn't played it since we played it for the first time in
April.
March.
Yeah, April
so
last
a
year.
year ago. So I wanted to go through it again and just there's a lot of different paths you can take too because it's kind of like a choose your own adventure. So that's why I really like that game. What's your favorite game?
Ooh. Well, right now I'm playing a lot of Crusader Kings 3 because, of course. And also playing multiplayer in Crusader Kings 3 with your friends is just the best. Right now, and for anyone who's played Crusader Kings 3, you'll know what I mean. For those who haven't, this is a game where you play a medieval dynasty. You play one figure in that dynasty, and you just kind of go through the medieval era doing your thing. Oh. Perfect use of rhetoric. Reversing the words. I really feel like the point was well made. But, Crusader Kings 3, you play with your friends, so you play a medieval monarch, and inevitably my friends and I become the Jews. We take some European monarch, convert to Judaism, and then you're immediately basically at war with all of the rest of the world because the game runs on holy war. So picking the most minor faction conceivable it's like hard mode, but with no conceivable benefit, and then we inevitably try and take the Kingdom of Israel. And that's basically every failed run we've played through the game. And so yeah, that is probably my favorite thing to do in video games is...
A lot of people are saying they love Crusader Kings too.
Yeah, so right now with Crusader Kings 3, there was an update that added new content for being
Or
Vikings.
saying they love Crusader Kings as well. No, Crusader Kings 2.
Yes, I mean 2 was great. We're on 3. In terms of plot... Cool. So as he says, his family's 100 yards away, so we're going to pause and not run after that, just to explain what's happening. So for those of you joining us who have not really played Bioshock, but may have been following along in the previous streams, we're some person on a plane in 1964, whatever it is, you crash in the middle of the Atlantic, you find yourself in this society because a nearby lighthouse that's the only safe place to go, transports you to this very bizarre, technologically advanced civilization at the bottom of the ocean, but it's in civil war, and some random guy here offers to help you and keep you safe, but in return you have to help find his family who are trapped in a submersible as they're about to escape, and so you are about to, at this moment, go and help the guy's family go to safety. So what could possibly go wrong?
Right.
This section of the game is a smuggler's hideout, and so we're rolling through it to go save the guy's family. Who's shooting him?
Machine.
Yeah. Well, formerly a machine. Yeah, Crusader Kings 3. Play as the Vikings. Use their adventuring. Become the Jews. Take Israel. Yeah, this is my mantra.
Switch up there in the control booth and let me in. I think it's time to shake hands and get acquainted.
So, what's happening now?
People are kind of discussing some more questions about video games. Someone said...
Sorry, plot is occurring.
Oh, okay, let's do
We're
that.
about
then.
to have epic plot moment. Do we pull this? So this is the submersible with Atlas, our friend's family, in it. That is Atlas.
You blow up! Use up there! Can't see a damn thing in that booth! Give me a tick and I'll get you out of there!
something dramatic's about to happen in case you hadn't figured it out.
What possible indication is there?
The music.
Walt Disney stocking for us. Oh. Thought she wanted some.
No.
They're everywhere! I can't hold them, got to fall back! Get me family out, and we'll regroup as soon as we can.
You need to use the right tool for the job. There we go.
Yeah, make sure that we can at least try. So, when did we first play BioShock? Oh, Spooktober. That's why, right?
Yeah. Was that an unironic, just default use of October?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, well, it wasn't this. Was it? Oh yeah, it wasn't just this past October.
Yes.
It wasn't a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, the plot's just happening.
Yeah, I know.
I love that one. Oozing like an assassin.
No CIA spook. Who are you?
The music in this game is so good. As somebody who went to school for music for 7 years, the music in this game is really affecting.
And also we have an audio diary.
The Irish pork pie offered me a deal. I flip him Fontaine and I walk out of here. That simple. How do I know that fat fuck isn't Fontaine's guy? How do I know they're not all Fontaine's guy? Fontaine's got Adam, and everybody wants it. Ryan's got a whole lot of talk and a nice suit. Even down here, any idiot can see which way the wind is blowing.
Did he say which way the wind was blowing when it came to a wrench going into his dome?
I'm sure.
It's big talk for a man who's lying in the Smuggler's Cove after one bad betrayal that backfired on him. But who am I to judge? I'm only the one who's still alive.
Right. So, someone asked,
I see someone referred to the Vikings as the Chad Vikings. That is the proper response to have when playing a Crusader Kings game.
yeah, well, the same person, Lathanland on my channel, asked, have you guys played the other BioShock games? We did talk about this a little bit in our other live streams, but this is, we've only played this one. We played this one starting in October when,
we only completed this one. We have been playing BioShock 2.
Yes, we haven't finished BioShock 2 yet, and we haven't started BioShock.
I have played BioShock Infinite in the past. I was not a fan of it compared to BioShock 1. I found it to be linear and reductive and far less interesting. Also far more up itself when it comes to the way it presented its plot.
Well, it was just funny. I remember in college, I was friends with people who were really into video games, and at the time I didn't play any video games, and I think they were a little bit too into video games, but they were really excited about BioShock Infinite, and I didn't know what it was at the time. I had no idea what it was about, and it was hilarious to see how excited they were. So that was really my only point of reference with the whole BioShock series until we played in October.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, the problem with this game, the way it presents these plasmid ghosts, so this game is based on the general theming of a game called System Shock, and in that you had like mental ghosts that would present information to the player, just like kind of narratively spicing things up. So you have the same thing here. You see those white outlines that were on the screen, but the dialogue coming to us by shortwave radio will overlap with the stuff that just triggers in the game world, and so that's annoying that you miss out on that stuff.
Mm. Somebody redeemed Feel the Burn.
Oh.
So you might want to explain what that is. Okay, I'll play a little bit.
So, what thing?
Kyle, can they see the bag?
Yeah, they can.
Good.
So do you want to explain what it is? It's a
I
ghost.
mean, I will read it to them.
Yeah.
Hockey. Haunted ghost pepper, real peppers, real heat. 100% real ingredients. Quote, an insane amount of ghost pepper. Even more ghost pepper. The heat is real. Kosher. And on their heat scale, from not hot, kind of hot, hot, super hot, and freaking hot, this earns a respectable freaking hot.
I will not be doing any of that. Jacob can handle, oh my goodness, well, semi can handle, the spicy chips. I cannot.
Well, I just decided that I wanted to try being a hot sauce person
How did
with
it
no
work for you?
background. Yeah, it's going well. It's going real well.
It's an entertaining time.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Don't disrespect her, babe.
Is shooting her account?
I feel like seeing what that person. So you gotta electrobolt that.
Somebody asked,
Oh.
do you guys have a favorite podcast? And Jacob, I do.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say his favorite podcast. He's my favorite
You-
Twitter account. Yeah. So the person Kyle was referring to is James Lindsay.
It said he looks like he's sweating.
Yeah, that'll happen. Make me eat another one and see how deep this rabbit hole goes.
Oh,
I'm willing to sacrifice for the team. Do you want to stand in the hail of bullets
well,
for like fun
no.
or
I
profit?
wanted to pick up money, and I was fine with the consequences.
The juice is worth the squeeze. So, what Kyle is referring to, James Lindsay, who's on Twitter as @ConceptualJames, by far my favorite Twitter account. And he also has a podcast, which is great. It's just that he's not regular with it the same way that, like, podcasters are. So I don't think of him in the podcast context. But James is mathematics PhD. He's the one who did the grievance studies hoax affair. He and his compatriots, Peter Boghossian and Helen Pluckrose, wrote like 20 fake woke academic papers where they falsified all the data. They made them ridiculous, like parodies of wokeism, and they tried to get them published in academic journals in the social sciences, like, oh, good job, grievance studies area. And they managed to get 7 of these absolutely ridiculous papers published. One of them was a paper where they claimed that dogs humping each other in a dog run in Portland, Oregon was emblematic of rape culture in society at large, and therefore we should approach human rape culture the way that we approach training dogs, and we should treat men accordingly.
Joey's trying to take care of you. He sees you're sweating and they hydrate.
Oh, good.
Look at your fam taking care of you.
Yeah, because I have no agency beyond this.
Headlines games.
Why not?
Shout out for the sub and for gifting it out to the family. And
yeah, finish saying this, and I want to say like a few of my favorite podcasts.
Yeah. So they did this grievance studies papers, and from there they like kind of became the experts in wokeism from outside of the woke. So, you know, kind of like how you'd have an anti-communist expert during the Cold War, we now have anti-wokist experts, and James is like the one for it. So he's absolutely fantastic. Just, in my opinion, wokeism is the biggest issue there is in politics, in American society in general. Anyone who's the best at fighting that is therefore kind of the most useful person around. And so as a public intellectual, James Lindsay is the most useful person around. So highly recommend him. And his Twitter presence is very cheeky and to be appreciated. In terms of podcasts, what happened? More chip?
Headline says "Feel the Burn" and King
Good.
of Autumn is trying to take care of you with the
With the hydrate.
So you got a dueling audience.
So what order was it? We got to do this
You
right.
gotta burn first and then hydrate second.
I
See,
mean,
look
the
See,
timing
look
worked
at
out.
that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, and these chips are not small.
you owe your family that.
Yeah. Last thing I'll say, because this is going to take me a moment, Abigail can talk about her podcasts. In terms of podcasts, I listen to the Ben Shapiro Show.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
We
as you
both
might
listen to.
assume. Yeah, okay, we move on. And I really like the Jack Slack podcast. I'm a massive MMA fan. It's the only sport I follow. And Jack Slack, the cheeky
Should I buy a
Brit.
plasmid slot? I don't know what
Yeah,
you're
why
talking about.
not? Yeah, have more fun. Jack Slack's just the best MMA podcaster, and so he's hilarious. I have taken to, whenever I join a Discord with my friends saying, "Oi, oi, it's your boy," in imitation of Jack Slack. Just highly recommend for anything related to MMA. Jack Stack's the best. Now you.
But I was gonna say, I listen to my brother's podcast like a good amount just because it's very informative and it's helpful to like stay up with the news. But I also...
Kyle's getting one chip.
Oh,
Just one.
Kyle is our YAF friend who is the one
The
helping,
MC of this stream.
running things.
You can smell the heat. Yeah, hydrate.
But the
I'm not
other...
playing this game.
Oh, I was gonna say. The other podcast I really like and I think is nice to listen to is called The Simple Sophisticate. So that's for my classic ladies. It's just, I like what it talks about.
Sorry.
Is this important?
Well, so
stand slack-jawed under the canopy and pretend that it was paradise.
I'm
Okay,
just gonna
we're
listen to
just
this.
Congress moved to nationalize my forest. I burnt it to the ground. God did not plant the seeds of this Arcadia. I did.
So, we had this stream named Burn the Forest to Keep It, referring to this exact moment. Yeah, oh, Kyle's reacting to the chip. How you doing there, buddy?
It's warmer than your hot sausage you have.
Yeah, it's the hottest thing we've interacted with so far. Yeah. It's the hottest thing on this stream.
Continue on with your story.
It's the hottest thing on this stream besides my wife.
Aww.
So, we titled this Burn the Forest to Keep It because the moment we just had in the game. So we're in Arcadia. Why is there an idyllic, beautiful forest underground in this underwater city? Well, this is where the oxygen supply for Raptor comes from. And so Ryan is letting you know in his hyper-capitalistic mentality, the government back on the surface, the American government wanted to nationalize a beautiful forest he had, and so in protest against that, he burned it to the ground. And we're about to have the same thing happen to us here. The oxygen production of Rapture will be destroyed by Ryan. He's willing to burn Rapture to keep it.
Oh God.
I'm doing well, babe. I'm doing well. I'm a man. I can handle it. It's
You
just a chip.
are already done with beer number 1. To be fair, it was half empty.
Yeah, half full.
Half full. Okay, fine. Optimism versus
Optimism.
pessimism.
Yeah. Is there a little sister? No. No, there's
I
not.
saved a little sister already.
Yeah, but that was not. That was just a lonely boy.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this is a really interesting. Ooh, little secret area, right? Yep. Nope. Yep. Come on. What? Come on.
I don't know. You're.
It's not. Get out of the way.
So what was your initial point?
We're gonna go for that in a second. Okay, well, this will probably be here when we get back. He's about to destroy the oxygen supply. Or, at some moment soon.
Yeah.
Yep, there
Oh,
we
there
go.
it goes.
What a delightful color for poison gas. Really,
I mean,
really
to be fair,
obvious about
did
itself.
you know that in Disney movies, every time something evil happens, like there's evil magic, it's always like a lime green, like a neon lime green. It's really fascinating. If you like look that up in, if you just Google that, then you'll see that like every time Disney wants to show that there's evil magic, they'll use the same shade of lime green. Okay, this is going to be a very difficult hack.
Auto hack.
This is not going to be
We
a
are
very
tool-
difficult hack.
We're tool using creatures, Abigail. You deny our humanity if you refuse to use tools.
So
now we're off to go see the trees. So the interesting thing here is Ryan burned down the forest above ground. Now he's figuratively burning down the forest here to keep what's his. And it's just interesting, like the mentality goes so deep. Now, the idea that you own what's yours and the government can't nationalize what you have without just recompense, yeah, that's a really obvious concept. Private property is a very moral and necessary thing because otherwise you make it whoever's the strongest and wields the government is really in charge of everything and actually owns everyone's property. And now you make it purely a power game. Whereas if you have a culture of private property, you actually have people able to build their own lives and the little guy can benefit in that way, rather than making it kind of feudal or whatever. But when it comes to the idea of if your forest is to be nationalized, burn it to the ground, no.
yeah.
I mean, obviously not, because the idea is that as objectionable as it is to you as an individual, as much as you should litigate or fight to get your forest back or prevent the government from doing it, you don't have the right to destroy an inheritance like that of the land and of nature just to kind of make a political point. You don't get to do vast ecological damage because your property rights were trampled. You know, you swallow the situation of how terrible it is, and you try and do everything you can to prevent it or get it back, but it goes so far beyond your own plight, the damage that you do in burning that down, that no, you just accept the suck of it all. And you hate your government, but you don't destroy the forest to make the point.
Right.
You just try and deal with it otherwise. Overthrow the government if you need to, but don't burn down the forest. Oh. So,
We've got a big daddy and we've got a little sister.
Let's have fun. Oh, come on! Like...
So, going back to the podcast, like,
Yep.
I was just going to mention the Simple Simplicity is a really nice way. It's just a podcast that talks about how to live a simple and sophisticated life. Those are two things that I think are really nice.
Would you call it classic?
I
Would
would
you
say
call it
like
classic, Abigail? Would you?
80% of the episodes are classic.
Ooh. What is that 20%?
That 20%. There was one episode that you actually like overheard as I was listening to it. That it's just a little bit more like you do you kind of stuff, and that's something that I take a little bit of umbrage with, because you do you very often crosses into it just very often it is, but it also very often crosses into like being disrespectful of others and not actually doing what's best for you.
Yeah.
It's like doing what you want in that moment as opposed to what's meaningful for your life.
So Abigail and I were talking about this the other day. There is a really big difference, and you realize this, I assume, as you get older, and then it's not just I happen upon this. I think it's just me getting older.
I'm hydrating for Fleetless Klonde, so...
So
what were you
you
gonna
realize as you get older,
Probably hard for him to get traction on the baseball field.
This is a Vienna lager. All hail Virginia.
Oh, hail Virginia.
You get another hydrate.
Two in a row?
Really?
I was gonna say, we're gonna have to be careful. Jacob's gonna have to take small sips.
I mean, there's always more beer.
Oh, and they want you to dab
True.
now, too.
Both of us, or
Yep.
just... Oh, it's both. Woo!
I was gonna say, as you get older, you realize there's a really stark difference between what is desirable and then what's enjoyable or pleasurable. And when you're younger, you assume they're the same thing, and you assume that freedom is the freedom to pursue what you enjoy. And as you get older, you realize, wait, I have a nature that...
Oh, no.
What are we...
We're just getting a lot of dabs.
I'm really happy to see you dab.
No, we're gonna count them up, and we're gonna speed run it. We're gonna bundle it.
We're gonna bundle it.
We're securitizing our dabs. So you let me know. We're gonna give it a 15-second window, and then we're just gonna bundle it. So count it up. But when you're younger, you assume that which you want to do is that which is also like enjoyable or good for you, or like that which you should desire. And as you get older, you realize, wait, human nature is kind of hackable. Like, there's so much aimed at us that we have a pull towards doing, even as we recognize, I really wish this was not distracting me to want to do. I mean, you know, the diet aspect of things is the most obvious thing. You get older, you feel your metabolism not work, and you kind of hate that you want chips or beer or whatever. I mean, I love that I love beer. But hypothetically, like, and it's just like, that which I really want, even when I enjoy it, I'm not really enjoying it. And I wish the things I enjoy when I do, like reading instead of scrolling Twitter, I had more of an impulse to do. It's just your nature pulls you in two directions.
It's a hard one, yeah. It's stuff that you enjoy doing, but then don't, like you said, have a desire to do when you're not.
Yeah.
That's a harder thing than the stuff where when you're doing it, you don't feel great.
We're getting some plot. You happen to talk exactly when you
Every
get some plot.
time!
I don't pick
Kill one another. I'm done with all that. I just want to see the sunlight again.
You got a friend with you? No? Carry on then. So just the whole point of...
Just that there's always a pull to want to do the things that when you're actually doing them, you're like, oh, why am I doing this? That's...
Yeah. And so the
It is
idea
human
of
nature.
you do you is you do what exactly? Is it you do what's actually good for you? Do you need help? Do you need assistance and support from people who love you to become what you want yourself to be, but which you really can't. We're not made to live on our own. We're not made to be isolated, and we're not born from logic and reason trademark, like where we recreate ourselves. No, we have a nature. It is limited and fallen, and we really rely on people around us to actually like live the good life. And also, we're not that different at the end of the day. We don't all have a unique and special nature. We're something completely different. Is that which makes one person's life work compared to another?
Yeah.
The script is kind of written on people. And so the idea of you do you is just a really pathetic excuse to pursue that which you desire, absolutely counter to what might actually be enjoyable to you or good to you in the long run.
Yeah.
All under the banner of being your own person in a very teenage way.
Yeah, I mean,
Still never respect
there's a
for it.
bunch of things that like fall under this umbrella, right? Like the whole idea of self-care, which is something I talk about a lot on my channel. The idea of self-care as actual self-care and taking care of yourself so that you can be a useful human being and not allowing yourself to get to the point of being overwhelmed by taking care of yourself every day. And then self-care, which is I'm so overwhelmed I have to sit here on the couch and just, zone out with my wine and my chocolate. I always
I'm trying to
use
destroy a turret with the potato chips. It's not
Is it
working.
not working?
It's not working. I don't think they have enough mass. Which is,
Yeah, if you had the ghost of the game, you would
that
totally be
that
able
would
to
rip
destroy
through
them.
everything.
What takes you down?
Good question. Sorry. Did I interrupt your last point?
No, I think my point was just that self-care as explained by modern women
Reveled
and feminists.
in, relied upon. Yeah.
That's not what real self-care is. And it kind of is. It falls to me. It's similar to the "you do you" mentality of not really taking care of yourself, but just kind of you do you, and eventually you actually end up being in a situation where you're not at all healthy, and you've wasted all your time and energy and not actually gotten better at the end of the day.
Well, it's the kind of thing where under the banner of uplifting yourself or repairing and restoring yourself, you're making yourself worse off. Because indulgent self-care, I'm gonna binge with a bottle of wine and a bath and watching garbage television. Like, yeah, I get that that's mindless and you feel we're gonna pick
What am I supposed to do?
flowers. You're gonna tiptoe through the tulips.
Where, this way?
No, it's the shining flowers. They're yellow. To your left.
Oh.
Yeah, they're glowing for a reason.
Oh.
Yeah, kiss from a rose. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, and now you bring the rose specimens for dinner.
Thank you.
What could possibly go wrong at
I'm
this
gonna
point?
pretend like this is just me being friendly.
There you go. Don't
Oh.
run into a wall.
I want to run into a wall.
You do you, babe.
Well, we have to dab.
This is as
and-
entertaining to the audience and as fruitful a way to play the game as any other. You do you. Wait, did we count up the dabs?
Yeah, we gotta dab and we gotta
Just
save
hit-
it.
You just hit 10 and just
Oh,
11.
God.
Okay. Okay. We're gonna close the
Yeah, I
bell
gotta- I
on the
gotta-
mega dabs. 5,
Wait, I gotta
4,
fight this guy. Okay.
3. You can go take care of that. 3, 2,
Oh, God.
1. Just
Ah!
go bash her.
Oh, God.
Smackety smack. Whoops. Yep. There we go. Okay, so 12 or 11? Okay.
Okay.
Abigail, we're
So
gonna
are
go.
we gonna pass them
we're,
back
we're
and forth?
doing
Or are we
left, right, left, right.
What
okay.
is the
You
chance
guys
we
are
hit
about
each
to
other?
pop each other.
Yeah, I was
No,
gonna say,
that's
what
why
is
we're
the
sitting,
chance?
and we're gonna do it at a high
Like a high
angle,
angle?
like a
Okay.
60-degree angle. Okay.
Okay, we're gonna count down.
I'm going to swipe you in the face.
I'm very
okay.
Oh,
nervous.
you just hit 12.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Even number. Okay. We're gonna count them off. 1, 2, 3,
Okay,
4. Okay.
You start.
1, 2,
2,
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Who thinks this is gonna be a meme?
I can only go low for
Workout
us.
with Jacob and Abby.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is our aerobic class.
We're,
we just
we're
dab.
flexing on the commies. Yeah.
That's
So are you
good.
playing?
Yes.
Or, reading?
No. Well, so you tell what you've been reading
Uh,
lately.
Oh, okay. So currently I am reading several books about Judaism. I'm like picking through multiple of them at a time. So I'll read like 5 pages one, put it down, pick up the other, just because I get a little flighty. But I'm also alongside it reading, as per Kyle's recommendation, The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self, which is a very good, I'd say, social philosophical book about the idea of how modern man views himself views his nature, what's good for him, what the point of his life is, how he flourishes, how that's very different from previous ages, as you very well might imagine, and then how this is not a natural thing to have happened, right? It's not just inevitable that the very modern kind of psychologized sense of yourself, like, I am a person who needs to be self-actualized. By inherent nature, what I'm born with, I need to be able to bring out and fully live out, and duty or shaping my nature or becoming what I should be in terms of like external obligations, serving God, serving nation, stuff like that, all that being garbage compared to the modern therapeutic sense of self being, it's about me living out my desires. That was not inevitable. It's the rise of certain philosophies that have taken hold in our society, and just what the consequences of that are. So it's a very interesting book. I highly recommend. My brother-in-law...
Where do I put this?
You just choose which one you don't care about. Ben has been referring to the phrase expressive individualism on his podcast a lot recently. That phrase is taken from this book. He himself has read it. He's a fan. So I really like it. Highly recommend. And then the other thing I'm reading primarily right now is To Pray as a Jew by Rabbi Donim, which I very much like because the Jewish prayer service is very specific in its liturgy. You do it 3 times a day. The prayers were composed like 2,500 years ago during the Babylonian exile. And so if you're coming from a very secular background like mine, it's inaccessible just to pick up a prayer book, read it in English, and know why the words that were chosen, what they're meant to be doing theologically, what even the Jewish idea of what prayer is and what it does is. And so this book is a comprehensive guide of that, and I have my father-in-law to thank for that recommendation. And so yeah, that's what I'm reading right now, alongside James Lindsay's Twitter, because of course.
I think we have to watch this, right?
I mean, have to.
I mean, we should watch it.
Should.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then I'll say what I'm reading.
Money changed hands. Let me read to you from the agreement. Section 3, subsection 4.
Mr.
Ryan Industries maintains exclusive rights to the creation, use, and exploitation of the Lazarus vector. Ownership is civilization.
Wait, no, please.
So this is clearly not going great for her.
Well, I mean, she violated the contract. All rights are secured in contract. That's, of course, the way this stuff works. My question is there a termination clause in the contract? Now, I find funny that we can walk into the room right after the poison is in there, get a face full of it, and we get no damage.
Ryan goes and moves the
So,
line down to the other
Should I
side of the
stop it,
field.
or is he saying something?
We're getting yelled at by Atlas about how everything's terrible and everything's falling apart.
Okay. So, as far as what I've been reading, I've been listening to the audiobook of Basic Economics, which I love. It's really great. And then I mean, it's incredible. You should read it if you want to understand anything about economics. I feel like people who haven't read it, I can't trust their opinion on economics because I don't think that they really understand what a lot of things mean and what's going on.
Intentions are everything in economics. That's what we know. That's why raising the minimum wage will, of course, result in higher incomes. Duh.
Exactly. So, like, if you think that minimum wage is a good idea, read Basic Economics. That's a very good book to educate on that. I also
it is written for the absolute lay audience.
yes, anyone
It's so
can read
impressive.
it, and it's great for an audiobook because he does example upon example upon example, and so you don't have to feel like if you didn't really understand one example or it moved too quickly because you're listening that you have to rewind it because he'll give you another example that will explain. Which I really like, and I can listen to it in the car or even while I'm doing chores, which is really awesome. Then the other thing I just recently listened to an audiobook was Candace Owens' new book, Blackout, which I also really enjoyed, and I also really enjoyed listening to. It was really easy to listen to, and I listened to it while I was driving, so I like having audiobooks because sometimes I feel a little guilty just sitting down and reading, but if I listen to something while I'm doing something else, then I feel like I'm able to accomplish 2 tasks at once. So that's what I've been reading mostly. Yeah.
Yeah, and fun story. So I was a Russian literature major in college, which is an entire thing unto itself. And also, incredibly obvious, I also have the face of a morose Siberian political dissident. So, you know, the theming is consistent there.
Don't insult me by saying I chose that for a husband.
I am overflowing with personality. More than made up for it with my just natural magnetism. Even if my eye bags are deep in Russian winter in their unsettling, depressive appearance.
See, they've only seen my eye bags when I've done my makeup tutorials, because that's when you see me without makeup. Otherwise, I use concealer, which is very helpful.
And I don't.
Yes, you don't.
Nothing is concealed. But the point of me mentioning this is that my mentor in Russian literature, who's absolutely a fantastic scholar, he's the reason why I actually came to even being open to religion, studying Russian literature under his tutelage. So that's an entire story unto itself. But he also recommended to me Thomas Sowell. So I read Basic Economics while I was reading War and Peace and an independent study with him, and I loved it so much, really changed my thinking about econ, and also about just the idea of social economics, if you will. What's great about Thomas Sowell is that he's also a sociologist, so his approach to economics takes account of culture, and too many economists treat people kind of like they're interchangeable units of production and don't have preferences, tastes, political action, all of their own. Thomas Sowell treats people like people. Go figure. And so his economics feels very human, and so that's what makes it distinctly conservative, is it takes account of people and what they actually value, rather than a very dry and inert sense of productivity. Right. But the point of mentioning all this is that when I was graduating, I got my mentor a shirt that had a picture of Thomas Sowell's face, and it said "Soul Brother" on it. And that was one of the highlights of my college career, was getting a photo with my mentor with him wearing a Soul Brother shirt.
We had that for a while. We had our own for a while.
Yeah, it was too small.
Yeah, it wasn't like stretchy enough. Have you ever had those t-shirts where they just like don't have any stretch and you're like, this doesn't have a zipper or button, so I don't know how I'm supposed to put this on comfortably. Like, you can do it, it's just not who wants to do that.
Is there some
flashbacks.
secret to our memories as a character?
Who could
What could
ever
it possibly be?
be?
I'm gonna hand it off to you.
Okay.
Your goal is to find distilled water. You are now a doomsday prepper, and a hurricane is coming to your house. Prepare.
Wait, is that in the game?
No, this is just me making a joke about the people who buy distilled water.
I was thinking, distilled water, you can't drink that and be healthy.
I don't know about drink it and be healthy. I know you can't drink it and be satisfied with the taste of it.
No, I don't think it has any of the minerals that you need to
The electrolytes?
be healthy.
So you are to stumble about looking for distilled water.
Is
Or
that
beans.
in the game?
Yeah, we need it to... Not
Okay,
for
sorry,
that
I
reason.
thought you were joking.
No, distilling water is the important thing.
Charging you for the pleasure. If I come out one more time and find you lolling out there amongst my hives, I'm
Yeah, I know who did it. I know who did it. Did you pay your points, Kyle? Hey, Kyle. Do you want to feel the burden with me, Kyle? Yeah, okay.
A toast. Oh, you gotta pay for it.
Oh man. Yeah, Jacob's gonna take care of that one.
Somebody purchase a chip so we can eat it.
It's on deck.
Oh god. Trying to shoot someone while I'm tipsy in this game is not easy.
You are no Wild Bill Hickman.
How am I
If you
supposed
can't
to...
shoot accurately while blind drunk, you are
I
no
don't know
Wild
how
Bill.
to turn these things on.
I really do appreciate that.
I don't know
Live-
what's happening.
Yeah, stay watching long enough will scandalize you. Not intentionally, but maybe
Or
inevitably.
maybe they'll just agree to
There
it.
is a
Yeah.
button to turn off the box. Well, in a chat stream, it's called blocking. But here, it's a lever on the wall that you have to find. But
Oh.
you do have to find it. And I will be using this chip as a prop until I'm forced to eat it. With regard to the person who said that they like watching us despite disagreeing, Abigail and I are very adamant that as we use it, the term liberal to us means people we disagree with on policy, but who share our, I'd say, our moral foundations. You know, the idea that families and individuals thriving meaningfully is important. That America is a good-hearted place with, you could say, a complicated history, but good and noble aspirations that it could always improve upon, to like live up to, but that the premise of America is worthwhile. Just stuff like that. I can disagree with you about tax rates. I can disagree with you about the government's role in like particular aspects of the economy, or like how public religion should be. But all of this is kind of quibbling at the margins. The basic premise we agree with. It's just bringing it into action
if we agree
that we
on
disagree.
the fundamentals, that they're like important. That wokeism is bad.
Yeah, wokeism is an alien pagan religion of destruction and death.
Right.
And I say that without actually any form of irony whatsoever, but explaining that's its own conversation. But a liberal could disagree with me about a minimum wage.
There's
don't
bees
care.
everywhere.
Yeah, don't step on the bees. They're
I
the
don't
real...
know this. I don't remember this level.
I feel like bees should be the modern Gadsden flag.
You
Oh
don't
God!
want to tread on bees.
The bees.
Do you want me to do this
I
part?
don't know what I'm doing. All I know is
mean-
there are bees everywhere.
Kind of clear. You know, first of all, okay, Abigail?
Yeah.
Our goal is to get into this room and extract some kind of bee enzyme from it. And to do that, we have to use this smoker thing to make the bees go away so that we can draw the nectar enzyme out. So that's the premise of this moment. All I want to say is just that I really wish someone modded this game with this one section, or made a YouTube video where it's just Nicolas Cage, not the bee lines. Or, when you use the insect swarm plasmid where you basically throw a face full of bees at people.
Yeah.
I want a mod that's just Nicolas Cage screaming in the Wicker Man put over, like, the characters. The fact that that does not exist to my knowledge makes me very sad.
If you know what the Wicker Man is,
You should
leave
know
a
what the
comment.
Wicker Man is.
Leave a comment.
We tried watching Vampires Kiss the other day.
Oh, it's bad.
We
It's
could
not
out of my
funny,
face.
it's
It's too slow. It's got the beautiful, crazy Nick Cage stuff, but the pacing, it's got that very 1990s New York jazz kind of thing going on, where everything is like lonely sax solos and like lingering shots of people in terrible clothing and leather jackets, and it does not work for me. It's too poorly narratively based.
Yeah, it's not fun to watch. Jacob and I enjoy watching bad movies for fun because it's funny.
Oh yeah.
And this was not a movie that was funny to watch. There are scenes. I think if you just watched the cutscenes of Nick Cage being insane, that would be enough. You wouldn't need to sit through the whole movie.
It would be well sufficient.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I'm not going to go into detail with it, but if anyone here has not seen the movie Tiptoes, highly recommend the movie Tiptoes. Maybe the greatest movie to come out of 2003. It has Gary Oldman, Kate Beckinsale, Matthew McConaughey, and Peter Dinklage. With a cast like that in 2003, at the height of many of their powers, how could it not be the greatest movie you've ever seen? You should watch it without seeing the trailer and just enjoy it.
So someone asked this question, and I don't know if it's accurate because I don't know much about this, but I'm curious if you have an answer. I'm sure you have an answer, but I don't know if it's like about. So you tell me. Someone said, how can your husband reconcile reading Thomas Sowell with Tolstoy's very famous advocacy for a sort of Christian socialism while also opposing private property?
I mean, you can read multiple people at the same
Yes.
time, and you can take inspiration from multiple people at the same time. So, like, the idea of reading them at the same time, that's obviously no conflict. But there is a really good question to how can you take inspiration from two thinkers who seem to really differ? Tolstoy has a wonderful insight into man and a wonderful insight into where people find value, their psychological tics, what motivates them, everything like that. He also wasn't an economist. He was a very aspirational person. He also went off the deep end after having basically a nervous breakdown and converting to his own crypto-anarchist form of Christianity that he founded, all of which got wiped out by Lenin, by the way. He is a deeply flawed man. He cheated on his wife constantly and kept secrets from her. They had like weird diary wars that they had with each other. He was brilliant, flawed, and incomplete. And so the fact that I don't agree with everything he had to say doesn't mean that he wasn't probably the most profoundly influential thinker for me. It just means that when he's in his lane, he's unmatched. When he's outside of his lane, he's not.
Which is true
So
of, I
it
think, a
goes.
lot of people, though. I think that's just like a good policy to have about a lot of historical figures, that there's good things you can learn from them, and then there are bad things bad things that you don't agree with that they believed, or bad things that they did.
Yeah, I mean, with Tolstoy, you don't want to make an idol of your idols or of your inspirations.
Right.
The man was brilliant. When you're young, it's really easy to look to someone who's, I mean, he looked like an ancient wizard. He was very old looking in all of like the portraits you're gonna see. This profound older man who seemed to have so much depth of insight. Yeah, that's great. Just you never lose responsibility for having your own judgment. So if you are thinking about a topic that this person seems to have very strong opinions on, this role model of yours, and you think, maybe disagree with them, it's fine to give them like a default presumption that they have wisdom to share and like really like challenge yourself why you would disagree with them. That's fine. But don't literally just point in their direction and say, well, he said this, so that's my opinion. No.
Yeah,
in
that's never a
Judaism, we
good
don't do that
idea.
with the Bible. We are always held accountable to really grappling with the text and understanding it. The entirety of Judaism is what? It's based upon the law. It's the law that you develop. It's a tradition of there's the text, and there's the oral text, and then there's the series of developments and precedents and legal rulings and scholarship on it, and then subsequent generations analyzing that. You are always participating in a chain of transmission and thought. So, no, you never get to just kind of shunt responsibility off to someone else. That's not the way it works, and that's not moral. People who...
But I think that this
Yeah.
is something like an issue with looking at the founders and trying to look for perfection.
Yeah.
Is that the founders are like they were incredible men who did incredible things. Does that not mean that they were flawed? Of course they were flawed. Of course they did
Yes!
bad things.
I Air Jordaned that bottle of distilled water into
Nice
my inventory
job.
and electroshocked myself. Worth it.
But it's still worth looking to the good things that they did and not disowning them as the founders of this amazing country that we have. So I think this is it's a problem with cancel culture generally. You do one bad thing and then you're no longer of use, and you're no longer a good person, or not even a good person, you're no longer somebody who has any value, and that is a really bad philosophy to have, and especially in Judaism specifically, we have an idea of teshuva, which is repentance. That's true of Judeo-Christianity generally, but in Judaism we call it teshuva, and it's the idea that you can come back from doing something wrong, and cancel culture doesn't allow for that, and that's a scary thing, that you can't come back from your mistakes. You can't repent and do better.
It's... Oh, no, I don't want the director's commentary.
Oh my goodness.
That was not my
That would have
intention.
been...
Yeah, and the big, like, so many problems with cancel culture, right? Obviously. But the the starting point that just is immediately off its rocker is the standard it assumes of people that, well, if you just meet this, then you have nothing to worry about. It's a standard of perfection according to an idea of how people are and operate that is unrealistic. So... And it's also the problem with the way that the woke approach like economics or an understanding of social organization. So to the woke, we could have like a communist society, we could have full equity. All of these things are realistic and achievable objectives because they wish it were the case. Let's just assume like if we had a perfect world, it would work like this. And so the fact that we don't have that right now must mean that people are either ignorant or cowardly or malicious in preventing that from being the case. And so we're going to rip everything apart that stands in the way of this perfect society, which we assume is possible. For example, if you applied that in your personal life, if you assumed everyone you knew could be a perfect friend, and you immediately cut off your friendship with them the moment that they're not, you will have no friends who meet that standard. You will be an incredibly lonely person, and you deserve to be, because what you think friendship is does not and cannot exist. So adjust your model to reality, and then you can actually use it to uplift things. Then you can use it to make meaningful and realistic criticisms to make things better. But if your standard is absolutely deranged, it won't be capable of making anything better. It will just make things worse, because you'll reject that which works for the sake of that which could not exist.
Yeah, and this is something I talk about with Jacob in the opera world, is that eventually, and I'm sure it's not very far off, the operas that we know and love, those of us who listen to opera, they were written in a different time. They were written in a time that did not have the standards and beliefs that we hold nowadays. And to say that none of them should be performed because the people who wrote them had different... It was just a different time, and they had different ideas at those times is going to be a real loss for the music for the operatic industry. And it's not to say that we can condone certain ideas that were in those operas. It's more to say, just take it for what it is. Don't say that because we're performing it, therefore it's a great thing or whatever it is. But the music itself is stunning and gorgeous and things that should be performed. And you can't just get rid of history because you don't want it to happen. That's not up to you.
And also, it's like a so we're watching Community right now, and like a lot of modern sitcoms, it over psychologizes its characters. So, oh, Jeff Winger, the Joel McHale main character, he has daddy issues and he's aloof and kind of a jerk, but then he realizes his friends really matter to him, and you're like learning that lesson about every 4th episode, which gets a little tiring. It's also the problem with Rick and Morty, like you're discovering the same lessons over and over, but the whole like Joel McHale's character thing with having his daddy issues and needing to learn to like move beyond them, it's kind of indicative of the way that we should be with our criticisms of our own society. Is you need to be able to move past the flaws or sins of your parent generation and recognize them either as, wow, the parent generation was really corrupt, but the fact that I'm able to like have a standard and see how they failed and think of how to move beyond it gives me instructions so the next generation can be better. Or if you have a parent and they're imperfect but have a lot of high points, accept that they were flawed, take the good, love them for it, and then be the better subsequent generation. But like the need to constantly bellyache and reject that parent generation for their flaws, you will never move anywhere. You are just absolutely mired in those flaws. If you can criticize it, you can think of how it could be better, be that change. But don't just be stuck there whining forever. So with the woke, it's just, we're going to cancel the founders because they were insufficient as men. Yes, they were. Take the high points, learn from the low points, be better yourself. Don't just dwell in flexing your founders because you're better in your generation. This is a game of chess.
Ah!
A game of chess.
Oh god. I need my wrench. I can't live without my wrench.
The saying is when all you have is a hammer, but we're really flipping the script on that one.
Yeah.
What a riveting heavyweight boxing match. Wait, he's dabbing. Kyle, he's dabbing. He's dabbing to wow. Oh, I thought it was a mutual kill. I was so proud of you.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, but don't worry, death is consequence-free in this world.
Hooray!
You know what?
I thought that my wrench would be enough.
Smack! Smackety smack!
You're
Wait, with the corpse.
Yeah,
yay, chlorophyll solution! I only need 2 more. Let me react to the chat.
Bulkhead to Arcadia. No, not yet. Do I do that?
Well, you just need to kind of wander around, and the ones that teleport around and throw fireballs.
It said bulkhead to Arcadia, so I don't know whether I'm supposed to do that or not.
Oh, we're at the very beginning of the level. Yeah, continue forward in the direction you were going.
My arrow is gone, and without my arrow, I don't know what to do.
So, to the gentleman commenting upon Community, we are on Season 3. We are not yet on Season 4. I'm aware that post-Season 3, there were massive production difficulties with Harmon being kicked out of the production for his, what was it, sexual harassment of one of the writers or something like that. Yeah, but then he was brought back after the cast. So, you have, like, an obsession with being on camera. I'm not speaking to you, I'm speaking to your gameplay. Because
what does that mean?
You keep putting yourself on camera. I wanted to say it because I thought it sounded spicy as a joke.
Mean?
There's a camera right there. You're on candid camera.
In the game?
Hi.
Oh, well now it's gonna know.
Yeah, it was before. So I realized as I was saying that it sounded like I was attacking you as a person because you have a YouTube channel. And I want, like, the moment I realized that, I wanted to stick with it because it was funny.
I mean, it is a little funny.
Yeah. Kyle, you don't even know. He, like, froze for a second because he thought I was just saying something, like, horrific to my wife on a live stream. So just really, all around, a good move on my part.
To be fair,
it was
if I had an
gameplay.
obsession with being on camera, I don't think I would become an opera singer. That's like the one place they're not going to put you on camera at all.
Well, no. Every few months, you get the Met HD done at your local movie theater.
I mean, I was not.
That could be the career.
Not in those. That would have been cool, but.
Oh my goodness, we got Abigail. I'm sorry, you gotta pause.
What's going on?
We got a quartet, a barbershop's quartet of dabs.
Oh.
Baby, smackety smack.
Don't come back.
Oh, that's the big dad. Yeah, just finish him off.
Oh!
Just one more. Yeah, there you go.
See, I did get it with the wrench.
Liberate the little sister.
I got to. Come here. Rescue.
Why?
I almost harvested before.
Yeah,
Not-
don't do
like,
it.
accidentally.
But don't do it. Yeah, that little music sting. Okay, so we're gonna celebrate her liberation with the dab.
Okay.
So left, right, left, right.
What, this
Okay.
way?
Yeah, this way first. Okay.
How many?
4.
Okay.
We're gonna count them off. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm ready for dream time,
There we go.
Mr. Bubbles.
I lament the Cuomo brothers, but this is actually relevant. I wanted to throw up this little hand sign for fun. Chris Cuomo ruins it. The guy apparently throws this at his family constantly.
That's what he
And
did
it's
when
the
he walked up the
worst.
stairs.
Yeah, when he
after
walked up the stairs
after healing from COVID.
for his fake COVID reveal, and then he like threw this at his family, threw it at the camera. It's like, no, you just ruined it. It's the worst.
Do I
So,
know
yeah.
this code?
Do you?
I personally do.
Hack it!
Oh, okay. It's hard.
Okay,
I've
here's
never
what
hacked.
we're gonna do.
I've never hacked on
Bef-
camera.
I hack in private. I don't hack on camera.
I got scared.
My private life is my own when it comes to hacking. Is there one of the machines that lets you swap out your perks?
Probably.
All sizzle, no steak makes Johnny a sad boy. We have 5 of 7. I want to remember where this is so that I can go get the Winter Blast, because we have this one commenter who twice now, yes, has told us that the Winter Blast makes it so that you can slow the roll of that stuff. Here we go.
All right. What?
Oh wait,
Let's just get it then.
we have 5 peasants.
Yeah, I got a new plasmid slot. I asked you during this game if you wanted me to.
Yeah, always more. It's just more entertaining to have more powers at your disposal. Winter Blast.
Someone said just skip everything and watch the final season. That's the only good season of Community.
Isn't that the one on Yahoo?
I was gonna say, isn't that the one that they like did on a different channel? Did we get more dabs or are those old dabs? Those are old
Okay,
dabs.
good. Old dabs. It's sitting here.
It is, and I'm glad that I didn't agree to that because I cannot.
You would.
I cannot handle spice at all.
You wouldn't be returning for a 3rd episode. Oh, we're too rich. Our wallet is just stuffed to bits. It can't handle how
What's the
money
matter
we are.
with our hand?
It's the Winter Blast.
Winter Blast looks painful.
Because the B hand doesn't?
But there's like blood in this one. It looks like Wolverine.
Whoa, I hear Big Daddy.
Oh.
Where are ya? Where are ya, ya chungus?
I haven't watched an X-Men movie
There
in
is
so
no
long.
little sister with you. You are useless.
Okay, guys, I have a question.
Boo.
Are you fans of the Magneto played by Ian
McKellen.
It was Ian McKellen, right? Ian McKellen? Or the Magneto played by Michael Fassbender?
Why is it mutually exclusive?
Well, they have to choose. You have to say which one's your favorite. I loved Ian McKellen because I love Ian McKellen because he's Gandalf, but I also loved Michael Fassbender because he was a really awesome, before he became the like villain of the first movie he was in, he was like an awesome, strong Jew, and I thought that was really cool. Of course, Ian McKellen is also playing a Jew, but they didn't really reference that in the first X-Men.
Yeah, well, they did. There's a moment in the 3rd one. I was, for whatever reason, thinking about this earlier today. I think I saw like a thumbnail of BioShock, and there's the wrist tattoo on the main character. Oh, see, cheeky wrist tattoos. But I was thinking of the moment in the 3rd movie where, oh god, the horrific X-Men Last Stand 3rd movie, where Magneto's talking to like the punk rock underground mutants, and they ask him, "Yo man, where's your ink?" And he points out his Holocaust numbers tattoo. He's like, "No needle shall ever again touch my skin." Yeah, the one moment of pathos.
Right.
And also at the beginning of the first movie, he's there's the Sophie's Choice moment. like he's separated from his mom, and so uses his power to like rip
I
apart a
thought
metal
that
gate.
was the one with
No.
Michael Fassbender.
Michael Fassbender one. You have an
He like
oh, what do we
crumples
drink
the,
now?
They did say to hydrate.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still can't get a hot shit.
The people are on my side. What can I say? No, in the beginning you have Kevin Bacon as Joseph Mengele substitute, who is like running experiments, and he says, "I believe
I remember that, but I
gene is
thought that the
activated by
one
stress or something."
with Michael Fassbender was the one where he like crumples the gate.
That was the first scene of the first one
newer-
from 2000.
Yeah.
Then the new one.
That was in 2000.
Yeah. Yeah, you can
Like,
tell because
no.
Hugh Jackman just looked like an in-shape man, and now he looks like a meat beast because he's doped to the gills.
That Michael Fassbender one came out in 2000.
No, the first one.
Ah,
the
so
first one is Ian McKellen one.
But I'm
Michael
saying the one
Fassbender
where
one
he
was like,
crumples the gate.
that's the first one.
That's not-
There's no gate crumpling in Michael Fassbender X-Men.
I don't think that's right.
I think it's right.
I need
I don't
everyone
even
to,
like these
I
movies.
need all of you guys to come into the comments, and I'm probably wrong. Jacob's usually correct, but y'all have to correct us. It says they had a menorah candle scene in the Fassbender movies.
I don't even recall that.
I don't remember that either. A lot of
Who
people
would
are
lie
saying
about that?
Ian McKellen. And let's see what else.
We're back at the bees. I don't care about the bees. Where's another Houdini Splicer? They need to be smashing. The tedium of a randomly dropping fetch quest is not to be understated.
That's why you can just run through the game, though.
I mean, you can until you have to get a randomly spawning bottle of chlorophyll.
Someone wants to know if you're a Zack Snyder fan.
I have an opinion. I haven't seen enough of the DC movies. I saw Wonder Woman, the first one with you.
Yeah, we saw that together.
It's all right. I mean, I don't like superhero movies at this point. I'm very bored of them.
Thank
I just
goodness.
don't care.
I would say
They operate
nice,
at like such a shallow
the
register.
nice
I'm
thing
bored.
about people,
Enjoy the bees, my man.
we were discussing that, because of the pandemic, people aren't really going to movie theaters, and big superhero movies just aren't the same on a small screen.
I mean, just think how good Wonder Woman 1984 would have been if you spent even more money to see it in the theater.
Yeah, exactly. But so, if the one good thing that, at least in our opinion, that comes out of the pandemic is that there's not as many, like, superhero movies and maybe more movies that focused on real stories and dramas, I think I look forward to that stream of movies and what comes out
Things
of that.
that cost less so that...
It's not just about the spectacle, it's about the story itself.
Ah! Haha!
Very close. But I don't want movie theaters to go away generally. I really love going to movies. That's before the pandemic, and when we were in Nebraska, we could still go to movie theaters because Nebraska wasn't really hit by the pandemic in a real way.
No! Where is it? No!
Oh
no! Why?
You almost made it.
Boo! Boo on you, game! I reject this nonsense.
My point is that Jacob's and one of our favorite date nights was going to the movies. So movies being gone just generally would be very upsetting to
Come on,
us.
give me a horizontal tube.
No
Do it, Gabe.
horizontal tubes
Do it,
for
Gabe.
you.
Gabe.
Oh my god. Whoa. Oh, the spinny one goes really fast.
No. What,
Yeah, no, it goes really fast.
I feel like that would be like redundant
No,
coils.
the idea is that it goes.
Oh. Why would I?
So there was a spinny tube for the hack. I don't know if you guys noticed. I had not seen it before.
Why are you speaking in a manner that is utterly repellent?
What's the sound that it makes when the footstep goes through?
Who, me? I'm speaking in a way that's utterly repellent?
If you didn't know, there's this.
Well, I was explaining it. And
Oh,
so
were
it
you?
goes.
Oh, come on. Oh, this is the wrong direction. Okay. Yeah,
It's
but
possible.
how many? We've already saved all the little sisters in this level, apparently. So these will be just redundant fathers.
People are asking if we think that movie theaters are going to go away.
I don't think so. I mean, listen, I got no special eye on the economy. I'm an attorney for Young America's Foundation. I'm a consumer of movies, right? You ask me a legal question, give me some time to research it, because you shouldn't be doing that stuff off the
I don't
cuff.
think they'll be gone
I can have an opinion.
forever.
Movie theaters.
Twitch lawyers.
yeah, Twitch lawyer, yeah. But just, it's a basic, like, kind of entertainment craving or desire or, like, I don't know, outlet that we have. I don't think that demand is going away. I think chains that have the built-up infrastructure are going to suffer because you have the overhead
Right,
of, like,
I think AMC
renting
is
all those spaces.
is already suffering.
But owning a movie theater chain, like, if you have the capital and we're no longer locked down and there's retail space to get, rent it, refashion it into a movie theater, and then you're up in business. I don't know why they wouldn't reemerge.
What I could see happening is that movie theaters would stop being something like casual and being something that was more of like a fancier night out.
Why so?
Well, just because if you're gonna do something casual, you might as well just watch it at home and live stream it, or not live stream it, just stream it. But if you want to like get dressed up and go out for a night together, you might go to like a nicer, prettier movie theater that has nicer seats and serves you food.
I mean, Alamo Draft House is going out of business.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see that? They filed for bankruptcy?
What?
I mean, filing for bankruptcy is not the same thing as going out of business.
I was gonna say.
I don't know if they're actually going out of business. I've not followed up on the story, but I do know that,
I don't like the story. That's very upsetting to me. Alamo Draft House is awesome. I mean, to be fair, again, it's what you were saying. If you
Who is Atlas?
Who is Atlas?
Or John Galt. Between the two, who is either?
Yeah,
we already
exactly.
saved all the little sisters. So again, what do you call a single father with no child? Just a dude? We call these big bachelors.
That's sad.
You know, we should call them big sad. Big saddies.
So, but yeah, that's really like what you were
Yes!
saying
Chlorophyll!
about.
Have you ever been so excited to get chlorophyll?
No, I haven't. My point was.
Oh, you had a point?
Yes, was that Alamo Draft House, like Jacob was saying, is a chain that already has the overhead of having to maintain all of the theaters that it has. That's, I think, the issue. Is anything that's like having to maintain rent when they're not bringing in anything. That's,
Or highly reduced.
That's just really hard.
Because, yeah, it's just a mess. It's not a good
Yeah.
time.
Stinks.
Go figure. Tree farm. Come on, Houdini boys. Somewhere, please, one of you pop out and try and ambush me.
How much longer is this level?
I
We were
mean,
in the middle of the level.
Yeah,
weren't we?
no, we are close to the end from the perspective of we just need another piece of chlorophyll. We're good to go, but we can't get darn chlorophyll because we're not getting ambushed by Houdini men.
We need Houdini men to ambush us.
Yeah,
Okay.
come on, we're totally unaware.
Just put on a straitjacket and they'll all come running. They wanna.
No, offer a straitjacket.
That's
for
what I'm saying.
them.
No, you put it on and then they all want it.
Tank full of water, or oh come on, he's above us. Or yeah. Oh, there
Oh!
you go. Bye.
Chlorophyll.
I was about to make an off-color joke referring to that. I said, or we could just have like a professional wrestler punch them in the stomach and then just let them die of internal bleeding.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, he got punched in the stomach really hard as like part of his act. He was
Oh, I
like,
remember
the biggest man
that.
in here can whop me in the stomach and I won't even react. And then he apparently, this is as far as I remember reading it. Who knows if this is just urban legend?
Yeah.
But he apparently didn't brace his stomach properly, like right before the guy didn't go and
Jeez.
go.
Oh, we
And
didn't go on the one before. I think I
So
remember
then
this.
his like an organ got ruptured or this some kind of internal bleeding, and the net effect is that Houdini died.
Yeah.
Moral of the story: don't skip ad.
No.
Always
Moral of the
brace
story:
abs during ad
always
break.
wear a girdle made of iron. That's what I'm taking away.
Tomorrow.
So if I look oddly svelte and solid, it's my iron girdle. It's slimming and protective, and I need hear two things about.
No, I can't.
Can't swim.
Well, you would be wearing an iron girdle, so
So?
wouldn't make that very easy.
It
for you.
just means that your swimming is weighted. It's kind of like wearing a weighted vest if you do pull-ups, but so much better.
Somebody said on the Twitch, YAF Twitch stream, fancy dating theaters are just the opera or Broadway. Could be why classically Abby likes it, to remind her of performing. I wouldn't say it's necessarily to remind me of performing, but just
I
any.
used to be a star. Ready for my close-up?
I mean, before
Your
the
glory days.
pandemic, there was a time that I was performing, but pandemic life is not conducive, nor being an open conservative in the opera world. But, two separate things.
How could that possibly be the case? The arts are just so welcoming of different thoughts that are
Of the
incredible.
diversity of ideas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're renowned for it. That's why everyone in the arts thinks differently and doesn't all look the same, and act the same, and just the same, and think the same.
But in any case, I do love the idea of going out to a beautiful, fancy dating theater and going to Broadway and going to the opera, because they're all really fun opportunities to make memories and to dress up and spend time with people in a special and unique way.
The most important part about going out to the opera is it's an opportunity to wear an ascot.
That's
The
true.
highest form of male fashion is the ascot.
If you're gonna go to the opera, in my opinion, it's always a great opportunity to wear a gown. And even though not everyone may wear a gown, how many times in your life do you get to wear a gown? And that doesn't mean that you have to go out and buy a really expensive one. You can get really
This is
inexpensive
camera.
gowns just generally.
There's
On there's so many different ways you
Oh,
can get a dress
oh, where
that's
are we?
fancy, that's not expensive. But getting to wear a gown is just a rare occurrence in our everyday lives, and it's special. There's a reason girls dream about their wedding day, to wear a really pretty dress. That's not the only reason, but it's a good reason.
That's why Harry Styles dreams about his.
That's funny. This one's really easy.
What do you mean?
That one was so slow.
Oh, who shoot me? Oh, you? Oh, he's been you. Oh, now this thing's frozen? The other ones weren't frozen? Ridiculousness.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous. I reject wholeheartedly. 4 out of 10. Not a fan. Oh.
Well,
Well, I
thanks.
really like the beard. I keep trying to tell him he needs to braid it like a pirate.
As I was referring to earlier during dinner, I have a friend named Nick who is 6'8", redheaded, a whole lot of personality, and he has a big red beard, and he put like a Viking war bead in it, and it was just the most spectacular look. Not one I aim to emulate myself, but that's because, unlike Nick, I have no tolerance for pagan nonsense. Viking war bead in your beard. Have some shame, you monotheist. Love you, Nick.
But I approve of people liking my husband's beard. I like his beard too. I prefer it a little bit shorter, a little bit more, not even shorter, just like a little bit more trimmed, I guess. But I really like your beard.
Ha! Barely a man.
Native American
I am without ability to. What was this chicanery? I just straight up can't do anything at this point.
Oh no, you don't. There's no right.
There's no right angle that I need.
I'm
So
trying to
just-
think if there's another.
There's no. I know the irony.
What does it all
The irony
mean?
is I'm just stuck staring at the beauty of. Oh wait. No. Okay, short circuited and you're dead. Back off, Gabe. Okay, one more time. I mean, maybe not. It's not up to me. Unfortunately.
Someone is complaining that it's a
Oh,
lot of
complaining.
effort to get dressed up, and sometimes a fella just wants to wear Under Armour and watch Fast and Furious.
Well, I mean that's sometimes.
I was
and
gonna
then
say,
there's other times.
I've watched all of the Fast and Furious
in
with
the span
Jacob
of a week. That
during
was
the pandemic.
That was the
early
beginning
on.
of pandemic. Was I made my wife watch every single Fast and Furious movie in the span
I
of a week.
agreed to it. It was fun, and there are
I still
days.
haven't watched all the Death Wish movies, so are we
That's a
even
lot
really
more.
married?
That's a lot more.
Okay.
Violence, but in any case,
Glory.
it's good to have a balance. It's good to have times that you dress up and go out, and it's good to have times where you chill out and relax with each other. Like it's not just one or the other. It's both. That's what's awesome
Yeah, it's a
about
yes
being
and situation.
married. Like, you get to enjoy each other's company, getting dressed up to go to a wedding, and that's like a time that you remember. And then you also remember the time you watched all of the Fast and Furious movies in a week.
What else did we watch all of? We watched all of Deadwood.
did.
Only season 1 was good.
Yeah. We watched all of the Lord of the Rings.
No, that was the
pandemic.
beginning of
That's
my
what I
previous job. We didn't watch it for the pandemic. But
Oh, we didn't?
no,
during
that
the
was
pandemic.
longer ago. Oh wait, we gotta do this like it's Jungle Warfare.
Who's coming out of there?
Some bros.
Okay. Hopefully we finish the level.
Yeah, we will. This is like the last thing in it.
Okay, well we have all the
It's
chlorophyll.
only an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's not terrible.
Come at me, you filthy animals. I'm gonna Kevin McAllister you.
I only just saw that movie for the first time.
Come on. With whom?
Your family? During Thanksgiving. That was the first time I'd seen Home Alone.
So, my question is, seeing as this door was like welded open or like blowtorch through. Oh, there we go.
No, someone just did it and then left.
Yeah, like no one was even there to have done it.
What is this red thing?
It's a proximity mine that I set.
Oh, right.
Waiting for enemies to walk through.
Someone wrote they couldn't watch Fast and Furious after Tokyo Drift. Tokyo Drift was the worst one.
It was, well, no. The worst one was 4. That was the Fast and Furious or something like that. The 4th was the absolute worst. It was like the most boring of them. Tokyo Drift was not.
But
a good
no one
movie.
was in it of any importance. In Tokyo Drift.
A little Bow Wow. Excuse you. Also, Han, the Korean guy.
Didn't he? Yeah.
That was his first introduction to the series, and he was so fantastic. They swapped the timelines of the movie
it made no
just
sense.
so that Han could be in the other ones. Because Han dies, allegedly, in Tokyo Drift, even though apparently he's back for Fast 9. But then they took the chronology and they put him in Fast 5 and Fast 6. Then he dies in Fast 7, and then he's out for Fast 8. And now he's back in Fast 9. Oh, no, he doesn't die in Fast 7, sorry. His girlfriend, Gal Gadot, dies in Fast... She dies in Fast 6.
Wait, was it?
Sorry, I'm getting my timeline.
I mean, it's fine. No one knows.
Excuse me, only the truest of fans who understand the cinematic masterpiece of the Fast and Furious franchise know what I'm talking about.
But I have a question.
Only the elite.
When wasn't there supposed to be a Fast and Furious released last summer?
Yeah, Fast 9.
And so
Why are you
what's
aggro,
gonna
bro?
happen now?
What's your problem, bro? Have some bees. Kyle, can you be like the Jamie to Joe Rogan of us and look up this factoid when Fast 9 is getting released? Oh yeah, the chat. That's what the chat would be good for.
We have not seen the Snyder Cut.
No, we don't have HBO Max.
We don't.
Why would I support it?
Also, apparently it's 4 hours.
Great.
So what I will say is that I watched a review on it by Red Letter Media.
I watched a review on it at the Critical Drinker. Together, with our powers combined, we have someone else's opinions on this movie.
Yes. I was curious to see if it was better than the terrible theatrical release of Justice League. I will say, I really like DC, but I have not seen a lot of the DC movies because I've only ever heard terrible reviews on them. So, like, we saw Wonder Woman together, but we didn't see Batman
versus Superman. Batman v Superman. The litigation of the century.
Yeah, we didn't see that, and we didn't see the theatrical release of Justice League, so...
I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
It's around the corner.
Oh,
This is going to be a great year.
I forgot what year it was.
Good job.
I'm
doing great, babe.
Very well.
Babe, is it classic to forget what year it is?
I mean, I'm thirsty, so I appreciate that.
To save my life. Come on, people. Now I'm restrained with a couple of
Okay, I have another question for the people in the chats.
DOS people.
DOS people. There's Back to the Future. Someone wrote something about a hover car. Oh, they were talking about Fast and Furious, and they should have a hover car edition. And that made me think of Back to the Future.
Fast and Furious : hover car edition. That's it. That's the movie.
And so, my question is, of the 3 Back to the Future movies, which is your favorite? 'Cause I love the Back to the Future trilogy. It's one of my absolute favorites. And I love them all for different reasons. But I'm curious to know if you guys have a favorite. Because they're just so good. And I love Michael J. Fox. I do.
Okay, so we're actually basically on to the next level.
Excited.
Oh, and Fort Frolic is it's a hoot. It's Sander Cohen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is this a save point?
Yeah, so we're gonna
Yeah.
save it once we load into the next area.
I'll go ahead and throw it on you guys.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
Solid.
So, we finished the level. And that's pretty much it from what we've been doing. But we will. Some people are saying Back to the Future too, so good to know.
With regard to what?
Which was their favorite of the 3?
Oh, well, clearly it's the third.
I mean, I like
Cowboys.
The first. I mean, the third is great too. I love them all.
The second one's the one with cowboys.
No, the second one is
no,
where
the
they
second
go into
one
the future.
is the
They
bad
actually
future,
go to the future.
where Biff becomes like the Trump of the future.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, so pausing the game. So for the chat to discuss and petition YAF, petition us. So we are considering jumping ship to another game, possibly BioShock 2, possibly Red Dead Redemption 2, something along those lines, just to get a diversity of content under our belt. And so we are wondering, y'all can vote on this.
There's
opine.
3 options.
3 options.
We just keep playing through this and
Continue
get to the
playing
end.
BioShock, get to the end, and have a great time doing it.
Option number 2 is that the 2 of us, will just play through the middle part of this game and then just get to the end level so you can see how the game ends.
Yeah, so we'll jump ahead on our own, and then snap, we'll be at the final boss.
Yeah, next time we play, we'll just be at the very end of the game. And option number 3 is we don't finish this game and we move on to another game. So let us know what you guys think. Also, let us know if there are other games that you think we should be playing. And
throw things in the hopper. But remember, it's all about flexing on the left and demonstrating what conservatism is in some way. So BioShock, very natural way to do that. Red Dead Redemption 2, with its themes of like, the oppression of the individual by the encroachment of society, with a very like Joker movie form of like, we move into society stuff. That's also a great opportunity to flex on the left and demonstrate conservatism. So just anything that fits that theme is potential. So please, opine, throw something our way.
Yes. And if you're not already a subscriber to my channel, please feel free to subscribe. If you're not already subscribed to Twitch, is it a subscriber? Following? If you're not already following YAF on Twitch, make sure to go ahead and do that. And we'll see you guys in our next episode.
It's been a hoot. We'll see you next time, and throw more chips my way.
Bye.